a royal match made in Spain and England. Before Catherine of Aragon ever met Henry VIII, she was destined for the English throne. Born in 1485, Catherine was the youngest daughter of the powerful Catholic monarchs of Spain, Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile. Her marriage was part of a grand political strategy to form a strong alliance between England and Spain. Originally, she was married to Prince Arthur, Henry's older brother. At just 15, Catherine travelled to England and wed Arthur in a lavish ceremony. But tragedy struck just 5 months later. Arthur died suddenly, leaving the teenage Catherine a widow in a foreign land. Catherine claimed their marriage had never been consummated, a crucial point that would haunt history years later. Her status as a royal widow left her future uncertain, but she remained in England, living in relative isolation, until a new heir rose to power, Prince Henry. The marriage to Henry and the early years of reign. When Henry VII died in 1509, his 17-year-old son became King Henry VIII. Mere weeks after his coronation, Henry married Catherine, his brother's widow, after receiving a special dispensation from the Pope. Their union was celebrated across England. Henry called Catherine his dear and true wife, and for the early years, theirs was seen as a happy, fruitful partnership. Catherine was not just a queen, she was deeply respected for her intelligence, piety, and diplomatic skill. She often acted as Henry's regent while he was away at war. In 1513, while Henry fought the French, Catherine oversaw the kingdom and even played a role in England's victory at the Battle of Flodden against Scotland. But beneath the surface of this royal union, a storm was already brewing. Catherine suffered multiple miscarriages and infant deaths. Only one child, a daughter Mary, survived. And for Henry, that wasn't enough. He wanted a son. The struggle for a male heir, and the rise of Anne Boleyn. By the mid-1520s, cracks were beginning to show in the royal marriage. Catherine, now in her 40s, had endured 6 pregnancies, but only one child, Princess Mary, had survived. Henry's frustration was growing. He believed a male heir was essential to secure the Tudor dynasty, and he started to see Catherine's failure to produce a son as a sign of divine disapproval. Enter Anne Boleyn. Young, witty, ambitious, and unlike Catherine in almost every way, Anne captivated the king. But she refused to be just another mistress. She wanted the crown. Henry, consumed by obsession, was now desperate to annul his marriage to Catherine. He turned to the Pope, claiming their union had never been valid, citing a Bible passage that said a man must not marry his brother's wife. Catherine, however, stood firm. Her marriage to Arthur was never consummated. She was Henry's lawful wife, in the eyes of God and man. Thus began a nearly decade-long legal and religious battle, one that would tear England apart and set the stage for a seismic shift in history, the king's great matter and the break from Rome. What began as a personal struggle soon exploded into a national crisis. Henry's desire to annul his marriage to Catherine became known throughout Europe as the king's great matter. But the Pope, under pressure from Catherine's powerful nephew, Emperor Charles V, refused to grant the annulment. Frustrated by years of delay, Henry took matters into his own hands. With the guidance of key advisors like Thomas Cromwell and the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, Henry began to shift religious authority away from the Pope and toward the English crown. In 1533, Anne Boleyn was secretly married to Henry. Shortly after, Archbishop Cranmer declared Henry's marriage to Catherine null and void. Henry was now married to Anne, and she was already pregnant. This act didn't just change Henry's marital status, it triggered the English Reformation. Henry declared himself supreme head of the Church of England, breaking away from centuries of papal control. What started as a quest for a son became one of the most radical transformations in British history. Catherine's final years and legacy. After her marriage to Henry was declared invalid, Catherine of Aragon was stripped of her title as Queen and forced to adopt the lesser status of Dowager Princess of Wales, a title linked to her first marriage to Henry's brother, Arthur. But Catherine never accepted the annulment. Until her death, she referred to herself as Queen and maintained that her marriage to Henry was lawful and true. Banished from court and separated from her daughter Mary, Catherine lived in increasing isolation. Yet she remained dignified and devout, gaining sympathy from many across England and Europe. Her unwavering resolve turned her into a symbol of steadfastness and religious devotion. In January 1536, Catherine died at Kimbolton Castle at the age of 50. Some reports claimed that her embalmed heart was found to be blackened, sparking rumors of poisoning, though modern historians generally believe it was cancer. Catherine's legacy lived on, most notably through her daughter Mary, who would later become Queen Mary I, England's first reigning queen. But Catherine's fall also marked the beginning of a new era, one shaped by religious upheaval, political betrayal, and a king whose personal desires reshaped the nation. Catherine of Aragon never stopped calling herself queen, defiant to the very end. But was she the true Queen of England, or was Henry right to break from her in pursuit of a male heir? Do you think Catherine was Henry's one true queen, or was their marriage doomed from the start? Let us know what you think in the comments. Your opinion might just make it into the next episode.